Okay. Being a little temperamental on my Facebook. Oh, okay. I think it's working. Yeah. Okay. I think that's working. Cool. Just wait a couple minutes for see if anyone else is going to jump on. So it's working. So anyone who's watching, jump on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And if anyone's catching the replay, drop a message and say hi as well. I'm just going to see. Okay. I'm going to go live on multiple places. Hi, Dory. Hi from Philadelphia. Lovely to have you here. And we'll just give it a couple more minutes. See if anyone else is going to join us. So you can live from multiple places. So yeah, anyone who's on the Zoom webinar, you can pop a question in the chat at any time. And I will also keep an eye on Facebook for any questions that crop up there. And we'll get started in a minute or two. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to get going, and I will periodically check in with Facebook to see if anyone has any questions. So I'm going to share my screen because I've got a, yeah, it's the full moon today. Woohoo! I've got a presentation for you. Here we go. Cool. So today we're going to talk about why, okay, I can see your messages. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Dory. why self-care is your secret to creative freedom. And this is a really juicy topic that I'm excited to talk to you about. And what we're gonna go into is why you taking better care of yourself is the secret to better financial health as well. And we're going to touch on some of the most important ways to take care of our lives and careers that very often we skip over. And sometimes it's the simple things that really make the biggest difference. So that's what I really want to focus on today. I'm going to touch on why we self-sabotage our success and how to stop doing that. And I'm going to share 2 life-changing tools with you so that you can start enjoying more money, more freedom, and more fun starting today. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about how I can help you with that. And make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to give you a free bonus offer as well. So does that sound good? Please type a yes in the chat box. Awesome. Yes. I'm Sarah Mack. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a writer and a mindset coach for creatives. So I work with artists, coaches, and healers. And the reason why I'm talking to you about self-care today is because this is a subject that I have had to learn a lot about as a burnout recoverer. When I finished my master's and I was working in film production, I had a massive burnout. My body sort of packed in on me. And I ended up with 5 years of chronic fatigue and severe depression. So I had to do some serious educating of myself as to how I could be taking better care of myself, because clearly I wasn't doing a good job. And throughout that process, I launched my writing career. I got a copywriting business called Juicy Copy. And I've also launched a second business, which is with sarahmack.com. That's my coaching business. And throughout that journey of really learning to take care of myself, I realized that I wasn't really listening to my real desires for my life, and I wasn't really taking action on them. And since going through that process of realizing how actually important that is to our health and well-being, lots of dreams have come true for me since deciding to focus on them and deciding to take action on them, including working as a writer, being a digital nomad. I've been traveling all around the world for the last 3.5 years. I've lived and worked out of 13 different countries. I've been able to, get through my immigration process to North America so I can be with my man who's based over here. We just moved to New York. We're here for 6 weeks, which is super exciting, something that we always wanted to do, live in New York City. I'm also have been, had that creative freedom to put into my creative projects that I was really passionate about, just, expressing ideas that I felt were really important. So I've been doing a lot of songwriting, performing. I'm also a rapper, and I've made some video projects and been able to perform on stage some of my work, which has been, a dream come true for me. And I'm currently based between New York and Montreal. And my work is all about supporting other creatives, because I believe that when creative people are thriving, when they are sharing their ideas and their worldview, that really contributes something really valuable in terms of shaping the world. So, and I believe that we have to do that. In order to do that, we have to be able to create more money for ourselves, because we need support. And, there's some very unsupportive narratives around starving artists or, healers who don't feel like it's the right thing to receive money for their work. And actually, that's really unsupportive, because when we are capable at maintaining a healthy financial life, that's when we're really able to show up and serve at a higher level and impact more people. And the ripple effect is magical. But I'm also really passionate about teaching the idea that you don't have to make sacrifices that you don't want to make, and that you can create the freedom and the fun that you want while also, thriving financially as well. So that's really my mission, is to change the narrative around how we have to make sacrifices and what we have to do to make money, because really we live in a time that absolutely anything is possible. And if you're passionate about something, and you build your business around your strengths or your career around what it is that you're most passionate about, it is possible for you to create success for yourself. And self-care is really the foundation of this conversation. And that's why I'm super passionate about talking to you about it today. So why self-care? Woohoo! Thanks, Dory. So say hi if you're watching. Send me some hearts, send me some likes. If you have questions at any time, feel free to pop in. So let's dive into self-care. And I believe self-care is all about getting you where you want to be in life, both from a health perspective and from a wealth perspective. I'm going to break that down and go deep into that in this presentation. So I'm also going to help you get clear on why you're not there yet. So I'm going to give you lots of ideas. So I want you to pay attention to the ones that really resonate with you. Because money equals freedom, right? If we want freedom in life, if we want to be able to do the things that we really want to do, whenever we want to do them, we need money for that. And money supports our health and our wealth and our happiness. As coming from somebody who was sick for a long time, like it's really expensive when you're not well and you don't have the energy to be able to work. And, you know, on top of being able to see health practitioners, you know, supplements, treatments, all of these kinds of things that we need to get better. So our health really is our wealth. And our, you know, and wealth. So wealth leads to health as well. And when we don't take care of our financial health, that is a lack of self-care, because, you know, anything can happen, right? You never know what's going to happen. So it's really important to take care of our financial health as like a really integral part of our self-care. And money leads to creative freedom, which is fun, right? If you get a wild idea and you want to be able to put it together, like we can never do anything alone. We always need other people. We need other materials. We need resources. And yes, we can be extremely resourceful and create a lot of things without, you know, the actual need for hard cash. And creative people are really good at doing that and being resourceful. But you know what makes it so much easier and faster is when you have cash to be able to support your ideas. So, you know, giving yourself that freedom to express your creativity and taking care of yourself physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, that is wealth. You know, that's what leads to happiness. That's what leads to success in your projects, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And then when you take care of yourself, when you're thriving, when you're living your best life, you can care for and inspire others as well. When you're just playing small, when you're stuck and you're stressed out about money or you're not well, you know, you're not being an inspiration, you don't have much excess resources or energy or time to be able to help other people. So, you know, it's really, it's a non-selfish thing to really take care of ourselves financially and to take care of our health, of course. So if you're not fully investing in and cultivating your gifts and strengths and building a life that's uniquely meaningful and rewarding to you, that is a low level of self-care. So maybe you've heard some of these ideas that I'm going to share with you before, but I really want you to pay attention and see what resonates with you, see what maybe triggers you, and see what out of the things that I'm talking about you're still not doing. Because, you know, you really have to take a holistic approach. You can't just have loads of money and have really crappy relationships or really bad health. That's not wealth. That's not sustainable. You have to take care of all of the areas of your life equally to be able to thrive, to be able to really achieve ongoing and really enjoyable sense of wealth. So how do we take care of ourselves? So that's taking care of our physical health, of our emotional health, of our mental health and our focus, taking care of our spiritual health, our relationships, and of course our finances. So taking care of our physical health, what does that involve? You've probably heard all these things before, but are you doing them regularly? Exercising habitually. So it's not just when you feel like it, you've actually got it booked into your schedule as a priority that you do every single week without fail. Obviously, sometimes maybe you feel like doing more than others, but making sure that you're always moving your body, because, you know, I can't remember where I heard this, but it was something along the lines of sitting is the new smoking. Not moving our bodies puts so much extra strain on our organs, because when we move, we're detoxifying, we're moving our lymph, we're supporting our body, we're breathing, we're oxygenating, movement is the catalyst for a lot of processes in the body that really support our well-being and keeping our body at a level of health. So moving regularly is so important, especially if you're somebody who works at a laptop and at a desk for the majority of the day. Drinking water, that's another huge one, that people just aren't drinking enough water. You should be drinking at least 3 liters of water a day. Are you measuring it? You know, do you have headaches? Do you hit the coffee as soon as you wake up in the morning? These really simple habits make a huge difference to our physical state. and our mental state and our ability to, you know, show up as our best selves in the world. Eating healthy, fresh, unprocessed foods. Obviously, this is huge and can be a challenge when we're surrounded by a lot of fast foods that are cooked in really unhealthy oils. So it really does take consistent focus and commitment to be able to maintain a healthy diet. Sleeping enough. Are you getting 8 hours of sleep? Dory says, each cup of coffee, you need to have an extra cup of water because coffee is a diuretic. Absolutely. Being dehydrated makes you feel terrible. When you feel terrible, you're not doing it. You're not really showing up as your best. So are you sleeping enough? Are you getting 8 hours of sleep? Are you sleeping, you know, at a time that makes you wake up feeling refreshed in the morning? What do you know about your body and your organs and what they need? What do you know about the food that you're eating? Are you paying, are you paying attention to what type of foods you should be eating? Are you educating yourself about what you can do to fully support your body to feel good? Are you paying attention to when you don't feel good? So it's really, you know, every single body is different, and it's not about looking a certain way. It's about feeling a certain way and really taking care of yourself so that your organs are being supported, because now we're living longer and longer and longer. So if you don't want to suffer a horrible, grisly, painful death of illness, you have to take care of yourself all throughout your life, because all of these things that we do to ourselves that are damaging to our health, maybe we don't feel it when we're younger, but it's still impacting the health and longevity of our physical body. So it's really important to take care of ourselves. Sorry, I know that was a bit dark, but it's true. And maintaining proper alignment, that's another huge one, because when the body is in its proper place, it'll take care of everything for you. So, you know, for me, I used to have a lot of back problems. I was seeing a chiropractor all the time. And then as soon as I started doing yoga, all of those problems went away because I was just practicing alignment on a consistent basis. And there are many other, many different forms of movement therapies and exercise that you can do. So there's always one that you can find that will work for you. If you can't find a practitioner near you, you can probably find an online teacher. There's so many different modalities now. So yeah, maintaining proper alignment. What are you doing to maintain proper alignment? Have you gone to see a professional to check to see what state your body's in and what you could be doing? You know, whether that's a physiotherapist, whether that's a chiropractor, an osteopath. Osteopaths are amazing. If you've never been to see one, go and find one. You know, are you getting regular checkups at the doctor and the dentist? And are you investing in getting support from health practitioners? Because whatever you're not focusing on, whatever you're not nurturing, is probably declining. So just really, you know, making sure these things are in your schedule and you're prioritizing taking care of your health. And please take it from someone who's experienced health difficulties. Prevention is so much better than having to deal with a problem as it crops up, which you weren't aware of because you weren't paying attention. Okay, taking care of our emotional health. So what does that mean? It means really listening to our desires, what feels good and what doesn't feel good for us, because everybody's different. We all desire completely different things. Different lifestyles work for different people. So it's really our responsibility to figure out what works for us. And that is, you know, speaking to ourselves with compassion and forgiveness. We are human. We make mistakes. We believe things about ourselves that aren't true. We follow what other people are doing because we think that's right. And then we realize maybe it's not right for us. That's okay. You know, we're figuring it out as we go along, but being hard on ourselves is not self-care, and there's nothing good that can come from it. Beating ourselves up only makes ourselves feel worse, and we're less likely to be inspired to take action to create better circumstances for ourselves. Acknowledging our emotions. So, you know, we're kind of emotionally illiterate in our society. It's, you know, especially in England, it's, you know, stiff upper lip. Let's not talk about our emotions. Let's just sweep them under the rug and drink ourselves into oblivion. In North America, it's generally a place where people are more comfortable being open about their emotions. In England, we think of it as cheesy, but actually that's just because we feel uncomfortable talking about our emotions. And that's been a big journey that I've been on since coming to North America. But, you know, just one step at a time, just be willing to talk about them with yourself. That's all you need. If you don't feel comfortable talking about your emotions with other people yet, that's okay. At least have that conversation with yourself so that you're aware of what's going on under there, because your emotions are very important signposts as to what's going right and what's going wrong in your life, what's making you happy, what's undermining that happiness. And emotions give you a very clear clue of when to act and when not to act. You know, if something, maybe in a relationship, you're really unhappy all of the time, that's probably a sign that there's something not working in that relationship and something needs to change. Maybe that's a conversation. Maybe that's you just need to walk away. And, you know, and it's not always clear cut. Sometimes we can be absolutely terrified of something, but really that's a really good thing for us to be doing. Sometimes following our fear and the things that we're really, really afraid of means that they're really important to us, and that there's a lot at stake if we don't succeed at that thing. So, you know, really building that emotional intelligence, knowing when to listen to your emotions, when to act in spite of your emotions, and just to really have that clear understanding of what's going on and what your true desires are for yourself and for your life. Doing the work to clean up any unsupportive emotional patterns. So, you know, our emotional health is something that develops all throughout childhood, when maybe we don't necessarily have the full understanding of the world and what's going on around us. And we can create very unsupportive beliefs. We can, you know, create difficult emotional patterns within our family because of the stories that went on, the events that happened, and how we process them or internalize them as a child. So, you know, understanding the way your emotional responses have been formed is such a powerful understanding to have, to empower you to you know, get to that point where you know when to act on your emotions, when to listen to them, and when to act in spite of them. So, you know, if you haven't ever been through therapy, I highly recommend it. It's not something that you need to do if you have a massive problem in your life. Gaining a better understanding of you, your emotional patterns, and the stories that you are telling yourself is so, so, so valuable. And it improves all of your relationships as well, just having that vulnerability to be able to look at what's going on inside. And obviously you can do that with a coach as well, to a certain extent. Different things for different practitioners, but you know, just at least being curious about that and getting emotional support is so, so, so important and really, really worthwhile. And being vulnerable and authentic in expressing who we are, because if we're hiding a part of ourselves, if we're shutting ourselves down, if we're censoring ourselves, that is not self-care. That's showing disrespect to ourselves. And sometimes we train ourselves to do that to avoid conflict, to make our lives easier and just pleasing other people over ourselves. But really, that's not how we take care of ourselves. That's not how we get the results that really make us happy. And if we upset a few people in that process of making ourselves happy, I think that's a good price to pay. You can't live your life trying to make other people happy all the time. You making yourself happy, that is your job. And ultimately, the good ripple effects of that are so much more beneficial than not doing it, and just to avoid upsetting a few people. Acting in integrity. So really knowing what your values are, what you stand for, and making sure that you're living in alignment with those things. Because, you know, if you're doing things that you're feeling guilty about all the time, that's just undermining your emotional well-being. And so training positive emotional responses so that we enjoy life most of the time. You know, often we have this thing called the negative bias, where our mind is always looking for problems. It's always trying to problem solve because it's looking for potential danger. It's trying to keep us safe. So it really does take an active effort and focus to be focused on the positive. But when you do that, life is so much more enjoyable than when you're just looking for things to complain about all the time. Because really, you know, we're not under that much threat right now. We're pretty safe. The worst thing that can happen is, you know, we don't get a lot of likes on Facebook, or somebody doesn't text us back. It's not really life-threatening, and we can get over it if we choose to. So really training yourself to tell yourself an empowering story, to tell yourself whatever it is you need to tell yourself that's obviously still reflecting the truth of the situation, that makes you feel good and just maintains your emotional health at a level that makes you feel good most of the time, and really letting those other things roll off your back. Because your health, oh, hi, thanks for watching. Okay, taking care of our mental health. So emotions, they are very physical, they happen in the body. And mental health, that's more like the thoughts that we're thinking. So we have the power to consciously choose the thoughts that we focus on. And another way that we help to create a supportive mental health and narrative that's going on in our thoughts is to eliminate stressors. And, you know, eliminate as many of them as we can. And then, like I said before, creating a positive story about the things that we can't control, so that we're not really letting them get to us. So, you know, really working to stop telling the stories about ourselves or the world that make us feel shitty and keep us stuck or limited, instead of taking action to create positive results. So what excuses are we making for not doing the things that really make us happy? And, you know, really training our focus on the vision we want to create with our time on this planet, rather than being all caught up in the excuses and the reasons why we can't do it. Again, I'm really terrible at remembering who says things, but somebody said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you might as well focus on the things that you want rather than the reasons. Oh, here we go. Dory knows. Who said that? Oh, somebody tell me who says that quote and I'll try and remember. Yeah, so positive affirmations, that's a really, really helpful way to steer us away from those negative stories. Talking about our needs and taking responsibility for meeting them. So understanding that everybody on this planet, there's so many of us, we all have completely different needs and desires, and that's fine. We just have to find a way to work together. And nobody knows what you want unless you talk about it. And there are ways that we can, you know, share our desires and find the things that we want, you know, while being respectful and creating positive outcomes for everyone involved. I mean, you know, maybe there are times where you can't please everybody, but that's okay. People don't need to get upset about other people doing what they want to do. And, you know, really, if you are having trouble with your mental health, give yourself the support that you need to #live your best life. This is one of my favorite phrases that I've learned from being in New York, living our best lives. So, you know, and yes, sometimes it can be expensive, but there's always a way for you to find something that's accessibly priced. That if you look, if you're resourceful, you know, there's always a way for you to create the opportunity for something that you really need. So never, you know, don't give in to the excuses. Get yourself the support that you need to have support with your health and your self-care. It's like the #1 most important thing, because when you take care of that, everything else becomes easier. Your ability to create more wealth becomes easier. So whatever you have to do to get that support, get it. Okay, next one is taking care of our relationships. And that involves setting appropriate boundaries. You know, as we were talking about before with our emotions, if something doesn't make us feel good, get clear on why that is and what action we need to take to, you know, to make it a more enjoyable scenario. So maybe we need to have some conversations with people. Maybe we need to ask specifically for what we want. Maybe we need to take more time for ourselves. Maybe we need to ask some of the people in our lives to allow us to take more time for ourselves. All of this is possible, but you have to be the instigator of it, and you have to set your boundaries and be really firm with them. And also cultivating your social circle so it's filled with loving, supportive, and uplifting people. Obviously, you know, we have really long-term friendships that we really value because of everything that we've been through together. But if some of them, if you're just in friendships because you've been in them for a long time and they're not really making you happy and they're undermining your happiness, have that. You need to have those conversations to either change the way that you're communicating with each other. And if that doesn't happen, then sometimes you have to love people and give them a little bit of space and take the space that you need to cultivate the life that really makes you happy. And sometimes, obviously, that involves a lot of strength in being able to walk away from relationships that don't serve you, especially if they're close relationships or partnerships. But, you know, taking that initiative, really not settling for anything less than high quality self-care, that is going to open up so many doors, so many opportunities for better possibilities when you commit to that. All the while you're accepting what you think is possible for you and you're afraid that you'll never get any better. That's a very defeatist attitude, and it doesn't get you, you know, new possibilities and things that really do make you happy if you don't first believe that they're possible for you. That's really important when it comes to relationships. Obviously, practicing good communication is the bedrock of any relationship, and making the most of the relationships that we do have. And it's always possible to shift a relationship, and it takes work, but it's so worth it. But sometimes it's not possible, and sometimes the most impactful form of communication is having no communication at all. And sometimes that's what you need. So you really need to listen to your emotions and let them guide you on whether a relationship is serving you or not, and whether or not you want to work at it, or whether or not you want to make space for a new relationship. And relationships are all about giving and receiving in balance. And you know, if you're over giving, acknowledge that, stop doing it, put some boundaries on yourself, and, you know, be open to receive. And that can be something that can feel uncomfortable if you're not used to doing it. But, you know, asking people for things and making sure that your relationships are balanced, making sure you're not, you know, over receiving from one side of the relationship, because then that could lead to either resentment or you feeling guilty. So it's really important for relationships to be balanced and for both people to give and receive in equal measure. And, you know, really make the effort to find humans that make you the happiest. We live on a planet with bajillions of humans. So we have the internet. We can connect with so many people so much more easily than ever before. You can be sure that there are people who share your values, share your interests, share your passions. And, you know, it's so rewarding when you find people that care about the same things that you do. And it really is worth the effort of, you know, maybe getting outside of your comfort zone and reaching out and forming some new relationships. And, you know, really don't settle. There are so many humans to choose from. So if you're surrounded by relationships that are really just a struggle for you and they're not making you happy and they're a lot of work, know that there's probably going to be some other people that would value your friendship so much more and that you would get so much more out of as well. Taking care of our spiritual health. So what does this mean? This means communicating with ourselves on a daily basis. This is our relationship with ourselves. Learning to listen to and trust our intuition and really turning up the volume on that conversation. You know, it's giving ourselves permission to aim high and follow our desires and live a life with no regrets. It's practicing genuine, deep self-love and compassion. Of course, we're not perfect. Of course, we're always figuring things out. Of course, we're going to make mistakes. We are human. Giving ourselves a hard time about that is really detrimental to our spiritual health. So learning to be compassionate and loving of ourselves first, then deepens our ability to show up in that way for others as well. And, you know, really giving yourself permission to get in touch with the bigger picture and to live a life of meaning and whatever that means to you. But making sure that you're not just playing small and, you know, ignoring some of those ideas and callings from within you of things that maybe you would love to do with your life, but maybe you're afraid or maybe you think it's not possible for you. Really, when you deepen that connection and that conversation with yourself, then those ideas and those desires and those dreams become more important. And, you know, the more you focus on them, the more likely you are to bring them into reality, the more likely you are to enjoy the fulfillment of, you know, seeing your desires through to like actual results in your life can bring you. And living in integrity with our values. Again, super important. And even just knowing what they are, like what's really important to you, what really makes you the happiest, what really makes you feel good, what are you most excited about, getting really clear on what those things are, and then prioritizing those things in your life every single day and in the way that you're living your life, and recognizing if something in your life is out of alignment with those values, get rid of it, make space for something that's more in alignment. That's how you really create fulfillment. And how do we do this? Just, you know, spending time every day creating connection with ourselves and the world around us from a non-judgmental, present place. That's where we locate and enjoy our spiritual nature. And, you know, there are a bajillion different ways you can do this, finding the ways that work for you. Obviously, meditation is very key. You know, maybe it's like taking walks in nature. Maybe it's, you know, and this is my next point, is staying inspired and nurturing a passion for life. So really pursuing what you're passionate about, being curious, spending time doing the things that you're most excited about. That's how you create that connection. Dory says, discovering and getting clarity of your values and your purpose or mission to help align your actions to the best possible. Exactly. When making sure you're acting in alignment with your values, that's really how you create that fulfillment for yourself. Taking care of our finances. So this is obviously another really important pillar, and that's choosing a career that's in alignment with our values. You know, if you're going to work every day and you hate your job, that's going to be undermining your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. You're probably not going to be doing a very good job at that job, so it's probably going to be undermining your financial well-being. So it's really, really important to get clear on those values and, you know, really make it easy to earn money by choosing a career that's built on our innate strengths. You know, work is going to be difficult if we're struggling at something that we don't really enjoy. So it's really important to give ourselves permission to do the things that we really enjoy. And sometimes that involves a career change, and that can be a lot to manage, but know that you're doing it because your life will be easier on the other side of it. And really have that trust. When you are very clear and you know who you are, and you're very clear on what it is that you want, even if you're not 100% clear and you're just willing to take one step in that direction as an experiment, you're always going to gather more information. You're always going to be moving one step in the direction that's going to, you know, be more exciting and fulfilling for you. So really, you know, and doing that inner work, really being curious about what your strengths are. And, you know, your passions are really a great way to, they're a great signpost as to what you're good at, because if you're passionate about something, you're going to do the work no matter the challenges that come up, because that passion will drive you. Obviously being organized, taking care of business, from, you know, a back-end perspective, making sure you know what's coming in, what's going out. You're also taking care of your emotional health and well-being around your finances. This is so, so, so important. And, you know, knowing where you stand financially, not being an avoider, being clear and intentional, and acknowledge your power to create as much wealth as you like. Because really you do. You can make smart investments. If you don't learn about investing, you can learn about it. You know, you can start a business doing whatever the hell you want. You can pick a career that really makes you happy, that's in a field that you're really passionate about. And, you know, just ask yourself, am I giving in to the excuses, or am I staying focused on what I want? And, you know, really give yourself that permission and that time and that focus to create a strategy to earn money in a way that makes you happy and doesn't depend on sacrifices that you're not happy to make. And this can be done, you know. Obviously, you have to figure out really what's important to you and what is possible dependent on those values and what's important for you. You know, if you want to be, you know, like the head of like a massive corporate company and be around for your family, maybe that is possible in some companies, maybe it's not possible in some other companies. So, you know, really getting clear on where it is that you want to invest the hours of your life, how much wealth you want to be able to create, and what are the opportunities that you can create for yourself to make that happen. There's literally unlimited possibilities at all times. So why do we self-sabotage our success? You know, obviously we know all of these things, but why do we not do them? And here are some of the reasons. Because comfortable works, right? Safe is predictable. And our mind is trying to keep us alive, and it's always gathering information about what's working, what has kept us alive up until this point. And it's always trying to do the minimal amount of work possible. So it will take the information that has worked and it will be on repeat. Your subconscious mind will be churning up. This is how I've thought about things. This is how I've acted on things, and it's been working so far. So let's just keep doing more of the same. So it's all about creating those new habits. And, you know, our mind will resist going outside of our comfort zone because uncomfortable is unknown. And so instinctually, that's something to be avoided, because that's the reason why we have fear, is to keep us safe, to keep us alive. So we're on alert. We're ready to respond to something that may be life-threatening. But as we discussed before, there's nothing really that threatening, life-threatening in our lives at this point. So how do we stop self-sabotaging? How do we stop living these cycles on repeat that maybe aren't supporting our continued growth? And so we have to recognize that discomfort is where the growth happens. We have to consciously move into discomfort and recognize that that's the only place that change will occur. So we need to do this on a daily basis. And really, what is growth? So growth is more of whatever it is that you choose. That can be more fun, more freedom, more money, more success on your terms, more people around you, more impact, more love in your life. Whatever it is that there's more of that you don't currently have. Oops. So because when we're letting our subconscious, when our monkey or our lizard brain, as you may have heard it called, when you were letting that run the show, it's just running our old programs that we've been running on probably since we were children, that we learned from our parents. So if we want to have different results, we need to be constantly edging into that growth. And how do we self-sabotage? We prioritize other things. We do things that are comfortable, that are familiar, like watching TV, or like not moving into that discomfort, and maybe getting that sense of satisfaction from making everyone else around us happy, from looking after everyone else first, because that's a really great way to distract ourselves from moving into that discomfort, from asking ourselves those uncomfortable questions and taking those uncomfortable actions. And we can get a lot of satisfaction from making other people happy, and that's great. And we can still keep doing that. But if we're using that as a go-to, where we're creating our fulfillment rather than really taking responsibility for fulfilling our own true desires, that's where true fulfillment comes from. So in order to do that, in order to move into that growth, we need tools to stop that from happening, to stop ourselves from, just putting on the TV and forgetting about it, just doing what everyone else tells us to do. Yeah, pushing the envelope. Right, exactly, Dory. Having a daily plan. Yes, and really having that focus on what we want and our own projects is so important. So here are a couple of tools to help you to create more money, more freedom and fun, whatever it is that you really want to create. Because when we take care of ourselves, when we really commit to self-care with time, attention, focus and commitment, we create the results that make us truly happy. So tool number one is to choose to practice deeply valuing ourselves. And because a lot of the reason why we don't take some of these actions on all of these things that we've talked about self-care, is because underneath it, we have this deep feeling that I'm not worth it. So to change that, to change that, our ability to be motivated to take the actions that we know we need to create different results in our lives, we first have to deeply value ourselves and realize that we are worth it. So, and more self-care equals more self-care. When we deeply care for ourselves on an emotional level, and we choose to see the value in ourselves, and we choose to see why it's really important for us to take care of ourselves and to fulfill our desires, then that will lead us to, really being motivated and seeing the value and having the impulses to do all of those things that are taking care of ourselves. So maybe sitting down and having, spending some time on a spreadsheet, calculating our incomings and outgoings, which, maybe we thought it was boring and we didn't have the motivation to do it. But when we really take care of ourselves on a deep level and we appreciate, no, this is me taking care of me, this is me helping me to fulfill my desires, which has a positive impact on everybody in my life, and you really acknowledge the value in that, you're going to be much more motivated to do it. So thumbs up, thanks, Dory. So how do we do this? So the tool that I give to all of my clients, pretty much everyone I talk to who's struggling to, really do the things that they know they need to do to make a change, is every day list 5 things that you value about yourself. And make sure that they're things that are intrinsic to you. They're not just actions that you're taking to do things for other people or to find that sense of self-worth through achievements and external doing. So you can do that by valuing, the quality of your skin, or like the color of your eyes, or the sound of your voice, or, the fact that your organs are working right now, and the fact that you can walk, the fact that you can breathe, your sense of humor, any qualities that are really innate to you, any skills and strengths that you have, anything that, or any effects that you've created in the world around you that are really intrinsic to who you are, like the way I made somebody smile today, or, the way I make someone else happy, because I have such a great sense of humor, or, and try and list 5 different things every day to just cultivate that, that sense of value, that you are valuable, that whatever it is that you have right now is valuable, and there's a lot of value in every single moment. You don't have to go out and get a billion degrees, and you don't have to earn $1 bajillion before you consider yourself as valuable. You are already valuable, and that is the mindset that will start to create the shifts that will inspire you to take the actions to really share your value out there in the world. And tool number 2 is to rewrite your story. So, as we've touched on a bit today, really pay attention to where you're making excuses, oh, not yet, because I'm not XYZ enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not strong enough, I don't have this, I don't have that, the economy is not this, whatever the excuses you are telling yourself about why you can't start thriving today, that's a really disempowering story. So really having that self-reflection about what is the narrative of your life, what are you telling yourself is possible and isn't possible for yourself, because once you flip that story, then you start to create possibilities for yourself. Instead of shutting things down, instead of blocking things out because, oh, that's not for me because I'm not this enough. So take these tools and practice them every single day, have that awareness, and then watch as you start to feel differently, as maybe you start to act differently, as maybe you start to have a little bit more success in doing those things that you've been trying to do for a long time, like getting a more regular exercise regime, or, taking a scary action on an idea that you've been sitting on for a really long time. And that's where I can offer you support. This is what I do in my business. So I work with clients to coach them, to get them to where they want to be. And I do this with one-on-one coaching. And the reason I'm so passionate about this and why I'm building a business around this is because it works. And also because I'm really good at writing empowering stories. As you know, I'm a writer, and and when I work one-on-one with my clients, I'll identify where, when you work with a coach, you have that one-on-one time to really focus on you. And to really, when was the last time somebody actually asked you, like, what do you really desire? What do you actually want? And what are you doing to create it? Because it's amazing how easily we'll shove those things aside and we'll ignore them. Because, it can be scary and uncomfortable to notice when we're not doing those things. When we know we need to step outside of our comfort zone. So I do this work through mindset work and intuitive business strategy. And what that means, so the mindset work is really changing the stories that you're telling yourself, changing the focus, creating a consistent daily practice so that you're consistently rewiring that focus onto what you actually want. And intuitive business strategy or career strategy is really just to help you get clear on what is the best next step for you, because really no one can tell you how to live your life. You have to be the person that discovers your desires, that feels your way there intuitively, because you will know the fastest way to get there, even if you don't really understand it. Your intuition, your excitement will always be leading you in the right direction. Because if you're excited about something, if you're passionate about something, you're going to make a success of that thing. Then something you're kind of unsure of and you don't really want to do. So it's really important for you to get clear, firstly on what you want, and then the fact that it's possible for you. Because then once you get those 2 things in place, then all the ideas start coming, and they're exciting ideas, and that that's the right direction. But sometimes you need somebody to reflect that back to you, to create that space and that focus for you to really get clear on that. So working with me one-on-one, we'll uncover your blocks together, those stories that you're telling yourself that are holding you back from really creating a thriving life in all of those areas. And as I said, getting really clear on the results that you truly and deeply desire to create, and really, creating a very tangible and clear picture of what those things are and how we're going to get there. Because the truth is, you can be as successful as you desire to be. And it's okay if you don't want to be like a superstar bajillionaire. That's fine. Whatever it is that will just make you really happy and fulfilled, whatever it is that's the next level for you in your life, that you're like, oh, that would just be amazing if I could just have this or just have that. And there's no desire too big and there's no desire too small. They're all genuine. If you have it for a reason. So really take responsibility for creating that fulfillment and that happiness in your life. Get the support you need to get out of your own way. You know, all of those stories that have been keeping you in the same place, you know, all of those things you've been doing to ignore and avoid, focusing on the things that you really desire, because maybe you're afraid of failing at them. And that's the thing that's driving you, rather than your passion and your desire. And so really that's what coaching is all about. It's keeping you focused on your desire and keeping you acting from that place, from a place of inspiration, rather than a place of fear. Because the fear will always keep you small. It will always keep you in the same place. And that doesn't mean that the fear is going to go away, but you can turn up the excitement and the passion and the desire and let that be the thing that motivates you. And that's living life in a really, really fun way. And actually, it's really not that hard to get what you want. So really the hardest part, or like the most important part, is giving yourself permission to create the focus and the support that you need to just take the next step. Because all you need is one step. And then once you've taken that, then you'll get clear on the next step. You don't have to have, you know, it all figured out. All you need to know is like, what is the best next step? And I'm going to take that. And then I'm going to take another one. And then I'm going to take another one. And eventually you're walking in a completely different life that's so much more happy and fulfilling for you. And I see it again and again and again. You know, my clients tell me what they really want. We create an action plan to make that happen. And guess what? It happens. Well, obviously when they do the work. So it really is, it's a simple process. And that is the magic of coaching. It really is a case of just providing yourself that space to really, you know, get clear on what it is that you want, decide what you're going to do to get it, and then just, you know, scheduling it and making it happen. It's magic. So here's an example, and this is why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, because I get to work with all of these incredibly creative and wonderful women who have amazing projects to share with the world. And this is Shirley Harvey. She's an author and an illustrator. She's from England. She lives in Montreal. She's awesome. She says, Sarah is fun, smart, supportive, and to the point. I made huge shifts and had ahas in each session. I started to really value my time and my creative process for the first time ever. I'm so much more comfortable having conversations about money. I set my intentions about finding an agent, and I was approached by an agent who was interested, and now I'm in negotiations with. I came away with a simple checklist of things to do each week, all of which have added value to me and my offerings. I also booked my first 2 paid mentoring clients. Sarah does what it says on the tin. You got me believing in my dream again, and now I'm making it happen. And Shirley's amazing. So, and I know there's so many incredible creative women out there who, you know, playing small is just starving people of the brilliance that you have to offer. So I really want to invite you all to have a free creative strategy call with me. And that's a 3-minute coaching call. That's no obligation. It's an opportunity for you to get clear on your blind spots, get clear on where you're holding yourself back from the solution to getting what you want. You know, I'll help you to get clear on whether or not your beliefs about yourself or the world are really supporting you or not, and where they could be upgraded to start creating more momentum. I'll teach you how you can start to change your mindset starting today. And so that you can start living the life that makes you really, really happy. And what, you know, that's really important, as we've been talking about today. So this creative strategy call is all about you doing the creative work that you know you're meant to be doing, that you're passionate about doing, and making sure that we're going to set you up to succeed at doing it, because you can do that, and that is possible for you. So please drop a Y in the chat box if you are interested in having that strategy call with me. And I'll send you a link to book in. If anyone's watching the replay, you can send me a message on Facebook, or you can email me, sarah@withsarahmac.com. And here are a few more client testimonials. Yay, Shirley. Yes, story is already booked in. Awesome. And Yeva is another incredible healer and an artist and a life coach. She says, Sarah is a rare diamond. I loved working with her because not only does she know the techniques and strategies to make you more successful in business, but she also goes deep into your conditioning and belief systems to explore what is holding you back. She helped me so much to align with abundance and pushed me to do things I procrastinated on for a long time, which turned into obvious results in the first week of work. I'm amazed, thankful, and grateful to have found you. And she's just incredible. You should check out her work too. Brooke Cleve, she's a digital strategist and a business coach. She says, I don't think I'd ever gained so much in such a short amount of time as I did during my sessions with Sarah. Being a typical Brit, I've been brought up with a cynical, self-depreciating mindset, which has held me back from putting myself out there and gaining confidence about my ability. Sarah helped me to break through the negative mindset, stop comparing myself to others, and realize that I'm capable of being respected and appreciated by my audience, being true to who I am, which is true for everybody. You are already enough now. You can start doing your work now as you are. You don't need to be better. Start from where you're at. This is the most important message that really, will start to inspire the actions that will get you where you want to be. So I want to offer a fast action bonus. For those of you who type in and book in your session with me today, I'd love to offer you a month of free membership to my Money Mindset for Creatives. So this is a membership group where I do weekly live Q&As. I offer accountability, and it's an awesome community of incredible creative women to help you to support to transform your mindset, because obviously that is a process. So the more you can flood your mind with that inspiration, with these new ideas, with these new possibilities, a safe place for you to show up and to be able to share your big creative dreams with people, and for people to jump on board and get really excited about them alongside with you, which, sometimes can be difficult. And it's really important to really nurture those dreams and to share them and to be visible with them and to make them real for yourself, but to do that in a safe place where you're not going to have people saying like, oh, that's never going to work, or that's a stupid idea. It's really, really important to create that support for yourself. To be able to nurture those dreams when they're in the very early stages, when they're just a seed, and you're taking the steps to water them so that they can sprout before they're growing in like big, strong trees. And transformation happens in community. And that's why I'm really passionate about bringing creative women together to support each other, because we all learn from each other. We all have the same struggles. We're all human beings. We all have the same insecurities, or, different insecurities, but in the same way. So when we all come together and work together, it's really, really powerful. And so I would love to invite you to come and trial Money Mindset for Creatives membership group for free for a month by taking action today. And some more client love from one of our members, Megan Parker. She's an author and an incredible healer that has a very exciting book coming out that you should also look into. She says, just fair warning, I might become borderline obsessed with you. You do amazing work, dude. It's an honor to participate in it. And even being in your group a few weeks, I already feel an incredible shift. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what it's all about, is supporting each other and being in community, setting ourselves up for success, making sure that we're in a place where we're really nurturing those desires and being really focused consistently, day after day after day. And that's how you make your dreams come true. So, and Dory says she's inside the group too. She said she's had an incredible shift too in such a short time. I'm so happy to hear that. Because Dory's also an incredible visual artist. She has amazing, amazing work to share with the world. And she says it's well worth getting the month of free membership. She's currently in the group at the moment. She says she's met some really cool and inspiring creatives. It's a wonderful community with me at the helm. Helping us to be accountable to ourselves is key. Thank you, Dory. I appreciate that. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the box, and I will look forward to talking to those of you who would like to take me up on that free creative strategy session. And thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions that come up at all about this presentation, feel free to message me on Facebook or drop me an email. And thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing day. Lots of love. Bye.